2025 has been an amazing year to be a Thomas fan. Not only did we get tons of lost media, most of which are on the official Thomas channel, we also got some new redesigned motorized and metal collection engines. And then we got this, but I've already ranted about it in the previous video. Now before the ranking starts, I'm not counting some merch like Bachmann, because none of them are out yet, and one of them got cancelled. Which is good because it's the most laziest Bachmann item I've ever seen in my life. But without further ado, let's rank every toy we got for the 80th anniversary, starting with the Diecast line has only given us 4 engines, which seems to have been most likely based on the amount of Audrey models we got in the Great Little Railway Show episode in Season 24, which could explain this reason as to why we only just got the 4 engines, and everyone else is reused from the 2019 push-along. But let's rank the 4 engines we got, plus the storybook Thomas. Coming in dead last, Behave Henry. Henry is by far my least favorite 80th Diecast ever. While it does look miles better than the 2019 one, the proportions of this thing aren't that great. It looks too short, one of the wheel arches is missing, and his wheel configuration is inaccurate. Now I get that this is sort of the limit of size for push-along engines, but this is something I cannot get used to. The tender looks okay at best. The back is by far the worst part of the engine, most notably the unpainted buffers and buffer beam. This engine could be a lot better, but at least it's better than the shite 2019 engine like I said. Coming in 4th place I have James. James is by far the best looking tender engine we've got. The proportions are really good, and face looks really nice as well. But it's not without its faults. The funnel is too short, his handrail doesn't even wrap around his firebox, his tender is lazily reused from the All Engines Go one. His cider rods are gold, which seem to be based on the one from the Nursery Rhymes music videos along with the gray wheels. And the fact that he is bigger than Henry is something I cannot get used to, but nonetheless, it's decent. Coming in 3rd place I have the storybook Thomas. To be honest, I'm quite torn on this one. I love that they made a Thomas based on the Railway series like Plurail did, but the face pretty much left me in disappointment. It's literally a CGI Thomas but with storybook details on it, although it seems to have most likely been based on the CGI-RWS hybrid scene in The Adventure Begins, but I like everything else about it. It's pretty sad that it's very rare to find. I legit could not find it anywhere in stores near me. Coming in 2nd place, I have Percy. Another really good-looking engine, with great proportions, but also not without its faults. First of all, why did they feel the need to make his pupils so big? This part really doesn't sit right with me, and the font of his number 6 looks really weird. Though they could be going off of what was seen in the ortho from the Great Little Railway Show episode, that being Audrey's Percy model, and the concept art for it in CGI. They've been going off of the Great Little Railway Show models a lot. From the small amount of die-cast engines, to Percy's number 6, to the motorized Greatest Moments engines, having rough painted details. Which could be a reason for these rather questionable stuff. Oh yeah, and his cylinder is missing. But the best push-along engine is Thomas. I don't think it's possible to screw up the proportions on Thomas in both ranges. Although I don't like how the wheels are suddenly off-centered, but that's a nitpick. I also hate how despite the front buffers being painted, back buffers aren't on any of these engines. You guys had the chance to paint the back buffers as you were putting all these extra details. And you blew it. This render even shows Thomas's back buffers being painted for crying out loud. But I digress. Now, let's move on to the next part. Motorized gave us 7 classic engines, and only half of them look fantastic, so let's talk about it all. Coming in last place, I have James. The tender engines are by far the weakest part of this range, and the metal collection. And James is one of them. The proportions of this thing are not good. His wheel arches are way too far apart from his main wheels, his cab is too short, and he looks way too fat overall. And the face looks too flat. I'm also not impressed with the expression it chose for him, as it doesn't really match his cocky personality. Coming at number 6 is Gordon Feather, engine with terrible proportions. Not only does he look too fat, and his face is too flat, his buffer beam is way too short. Seriously, how can they handle it better with Scotsman? But they can't here. Maybe it's so they can make room for these smokebox stabilizers. I don't know. I put Gordon above James, because at least I can handle Fat Gordon much better than with Fat James. Also, why are they reusing tenders with removable coal from the talking engines? That part never really sat right with me. Another problem with this range is much like the All Engines Go engines. The long couplings. Seriously, what was the point of lengthening the couplings? Now the main engines and their tenders look very far apart from each other. I'm also not a fan of the Express Coach and the Greatest Moments pack. It's literally reused from All Engines Go, but with some differences. Number 5 is the Flying Scotsman. I kinda want to put it a lot lower on this list because of how small his tenders are compared to the engine. They could have been better had they not cheaply looked so identical to his Trackmaster 2 tenders, and actually have the time to upskill them. But the reason I have it higher is because the proportions of main engine itself look better here, and at least his running board looks more normal here, and I like that they correctly shaped his detender lining, instead of ripping off the CGI render, where they're wrongly shaped like a Fowler tender. Overall, another pretty disappointing engine. Next up is Nia. She's not as awful as the tender engines, but also not the greatest. She's definitely the weakest of the tank engines in this range. The proportions don't sit right with me, and overall she doesn't look as good. If anything, I think the Trackmaster to Nia is better than the 80th anniversary. But that's mainly because she's a long tank engine that's somehow shorter than Thomas. Kicking off the top 3, this is where it'd get much better from engine to engine. I have Percy. The proportions of this thing look way better here, while I do wish the cab was a little bit wider. At least we got a great looking Percy after 10 years of his awful proportions in Trackmaster 2. The main thing I don't like about this Percy is the side rods. He's a Ufaro, and yet they just lazily reused side rods from everyone else. Overall, a great looking toy. Coming in second place, I have Thomas. Like I said, it's quite impossible to mess up Thomas's proportions, and Motorized is one of them. The face looks really nice, much better than the awful Trackmaster to face, and is overall the best looking Motorized item. The one thing I dislike about it is that his wheel arches are misaligned from his front wheels, but that's a nitpick. But the best one of the Motorized engines for me is Duck. After 10 years of no new Trackmaster Duck, we finally got one for the 80th anniversary, and it looks impressive, and is by far the most accurate he's ever been. I really love the different shade of green they used. It really makes him stand out amongst all the other green engines in this merch. While I do wish he got proper front buffers and maybe shortened his cab a little bit. At least we got an amazing Trackmaster Duck in years. We've seen Quitty a lot of Duck this year. He appeared in All Engines Go at the very last minute Bat was given the same treatment as Henry and Edward. That being a pointless NPC glub shitto that's only used as background filler, despite being a new engine in this continuity and still did nothing with him. And we got this great looking Trackmaster Motorized Duck that sadly never made it to the US yet. Hopefully it does make it to US stores, because I have not seen it anywhere here. Now, let's move on to Playrail. Japan has been almost consistently good with its toys. I know it's because Thomas is much more popular out there, but it's nice to see that Japan actually tries for the most part. For the 80th, we got 4 Playrail sets, and as much as I like a lot of them, the Sparkling Soldor set is by far the weakest one out of the bunch for me. It's literally just the 75th anniversary Glitter Island set, but Winston is replaced by Birdie. How creative am I, right? Also, why can't you just make a 3 railway engine set, or something like that? That not only would have been fire, but it also would have made them more money. I know they literally don't care about Henry and Edward, hence why Edward never made it to the anniversary, but at least try to do something like that. Instead, we got another Thomas, Percy, and James set. And I know they're the big 3 characters. But I also want to see more characters, not just these 3, because then it gets old and boring. But hopefully they can make a 3 railway engines packed by the 85th anniversary. Overall, a pretty lazy set it is. Up next is the Golden Thomas. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of this set. It's nice that we got another Gold Thomas for the 80th, but I honestly really despise the gold on both Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle. Why the hell didn't they use the shiny, metallic, supreme gold paint, like their first Gold Thomas, or any of the other merch? I'm also just not the biggest fan of any of the decals on the engine. From the 80th logo on the roof, to the weird confetti all over the side. If anything, they should have made a more cleaner version of Thomas with all the ribbons and such. Up next is the Thomas and Harold Party set. Literally the same thing we've seen in the 75th anniversary, but worse. Don't even get me started on the goofy colored brake van. It's painful to look at. Next one. And finally, we get to the best Playrail item in years. The Railway Series Thomas. This thing absolutely blew away all my expectations. Look at this thing. The Railway Series face. All the Railway Series details. The Annie and Clarabelle. It's just an absolute treat. Maybe that's why the other sets weren't as good, as all the money and budget were spent on the Stmas. I'm so glad we got this for the 80th anniversary, because this was such a great way to celebrate it, just like most of the other merch on this list. And before you ask how I would combine them all into a ranking, this is how I would rank them. Number 1 is of course the Play Rail Thomas. Number 2 is the Diecast Thomas. Number 3 is the Diecast Percy. Number 4 is the Motorized Duck. Number 5 is the Motorized Thomas. Number 6 is the Motorized Percy. Number 7 is the Diecast Storybook Thomas. Number 8 is the Diecast James. Number 9 is the Motorized Nia. Number 10 is the Play Rail Thomas and Herald Party Set. Number 11 is the Play Rail Gold Thomas. Number 12 is the Play Rail Sparkling Stodor Set. Number 13 is the Diecast Henry. Number 14 is Motorized Scotsman. Number 15 is Motorized Gordon. And 16th and last place is Motorized James. And there you have it. That was my ranking on the 80th anniversary merch we got this year. All in all, the 80th anniversary was definitely a huge improvement over the 75th anniversary. In the previous anniversary, everything we got ranged from awful to okay. Awful toys, awful shorts, and awful specials in season. The Royal Engine was okay at best. Marvelous Machinery was abysmal. And while the toys still absolutely sucked, they actually had the balls to make the coaches longer again. But that's the only good thing to come out of this anniversary. Oh, and the show ended, too. I still sometimes loathe Mattel, even afterwards, because of some of the terrible decisions they made. But at the same time, I also love them, and find myself to be thanking them enough for a great anniversary we've had this year. If a cheap non-canon reboot is what it takes for them to make good CGI toys again, along with uploading lost media on the official Thomas channel, then so be it. While some of the tender engines still kinda suck, a lot of the tank engines range from good to amazing. And I'll be forever grateful for the second best anniversary we got, right next to the 70th anniversary for me. One of the main things I loved about the merch this year is that we didn't just get our updated versions of the main 4 characters, plus Nia, Bootduck, Henry and Skosmanos. Well, sadly, Edward, Toby, Emily, and Rebecca didn't make it to the anniversary. Edward did make it this year later on, and oh, it's just retooled from old merch nobody liked. Please let this be leftover merch to kickstart the all-new series in 2026. And that the fresh new metal collection line with magnets is true. If not, then every single human being working on these toys, and every single employee at Mattel should all be fired and replaced by every single true Thomas fan. Because I swear to God, if they re-release Tovy or any Trackmaster 2 items, I am literally gonna beat them to death. Okay, that's not what I'll be doing just because they did not live up to our expectations, but all I can say is, I'm super upset by this retooled merch, and especially the fact that Edward was done dirty by Mattel for like the 50th time. Even with that said, hopefully 2026 is just as good, if not better than this year, regardless of some of the toys we get. And I'm very interested to see what the TV series will look like next year. Hopefully it's actually a promising show, much better than All Engines Go and the Big World Big Adventures era, and that they actually start marketing it, even if they missed so many chances of announcing it. But if it does actually happen and they announce it at the same year it's coming out, while barely marketing it, then it might just be another failure from Mattel, and the franchise will be put on hold like Bob the Builder after its reboot. Or maybe it won't happen, and the brand just becomes dead in the water and won't ever come back again. Who knows what will happen, but my hopes aren't too high right now. Ah, hey everyone! So I'm adding this scene the day before Christmas Eve, and it looks like we just got new images for the new Diecast engines with magnets. Yeah, seriously, they're real, and straight out of the bat, the proportions look much better. Maybe this is what the budget was saved on. We finally got a good die-cast Gordon with a very accurate wheel arrangement. Overall, much better placement for the rivets and handrails in my opinion. I love the express head codes. There is just so much detail put into these engines. While I do wish the magnets weren't just blatant rip-offs of the wooden railway ones, and that they used the old take-along and take-and-play ones. This is overall a very solid-looking toy. Oh my god. Hold up. Gordon, my boy. Why does your face look like an utter nightmare fuel? I know it's supposed to look like Andrew Webber's 1976 pilot, but my god, this just doesn't look right. And the worst part of all, Annie or Clarabelle now has a gray face. Why, God, why? Why base her off of her Season 12 concept art? You can redesign engines all you want, Mattel, but this is not the way to go about it. These toys look like they were designed by AI, of which they might actually be. Anyways, this is me. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all in 2026. I have a ton of new content coming out, so be on the lookout for those, and never miss out. Oh yeah, the toys also got moved from China to Vietnam in September of this year because of political reasons. That could explain the low-quality printing on some of the engines, and half of Gorton's running board going missing on Case B, and more factory errors that clickbait you into thinking they're removing their side rods, and just the very poor quality control of the toys themselves, like what's going on with Gordon's handrail and etc.